Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio.
All right. Welcome to In Tune, Old Heart Radio's music podcast, episode 2. Fuck yeah. We made it, guys. Second episode. Didn't get canceled by the boss man. Oh, fuck. It's that, Jared always talks about his Olympia moonshine. I'm drinking the ocean's moonshine, aka water. Hydration Nation. Gotta keep it going. The fuck? Alright. Got some fun stuff to talk about. I want to do a little bio on artists I've really liked for a long time. Some of you might know them, some of you might not. Hopefully it points you towards them if you like it. I'm talking about Toro y Moi. The dude is a fantastic producer, and he just put out this sort of different EP recently that I listened to. It was released on August 23rd. It's called Smart Beats. It's presented by Smart Water, of all things. Sort of fucking weird. That's why I'm drinking this water. Not sponsored by Smart Water though. Go ahead and drink your water though. We got some interesting stuff on this one though. But we gotta start from the beginning. So, his real name is Chaz Bundick, something like that. And he's from, let's see here. God, Wikipedia load, please. He's from Columbia, South Carolina. And he is specified by this as being chillwave, synth pop, glo-fi, I've never heard about that, hypnagogic pop, psych rock, I approved that one, and house. Okay, yeah, I can see a bit of all those. The dude majored in graphic design in school, but didn't end up really producing that, obviously. The dude performed at Coachella like last year, I'm pretty sure, so I don't think his graphic design stuff really is pulling the weight anymore. But, and this is also sort of interesting, he was really good friends with a dude by the name of Ernest Green, who performs under the name Washed Out. If you've seen Portlandia, that is the theme song to Portlandia. It's a Washed Out song. Go check that guy out. Washed Out. Makes great music too. Toro y Moi, he's put out and has been featured on what I can only describe as a shit ton of different stuff. I discovered him because he featured on a Chromeo song called Come Alive. And Chromeo is my fucking jam. So I knew I'd like this guy. So, studio albums, Causers of This in 2010, Underneath the Pine 2011, Anything in Return 2013, Michael, and The Sins, or Les Sins 2014, What For 2015, Star Stuff 2017, Boo Boo 2017, Outer Peace 2019, and now we got this Smart Water EP or something. He is what I can only describe as a producer that has touched on a lot of different highs and lows and different elements of the music making industry. So to start off, when I really started listening to him, I remember Rose Quartz in particular off his album Anything in Return. I didn't really listen and haven't really actively listened to much before that. But it has this sort of ambient vibe to it. Not quite ambient though. It's evolving. It's got a very nice soundscape, and it's a very active song. I'm pretty sure runs for easily like 5-6 minutes or so. Yeah, right around 5 minutes, and it feels like nothing. It flows by. It's very much music that you just relax while listening to. It's nothing too crazy. But then at the same time, this dude, like less than a year ago, I'm pretty sure, put out his album Outer Peace. Yeah, it was in 2019, which featured songs like Ordinary Pleasure, Freelance, Monte Carlo, and 50/50. These songs, they're a bit different in my opinion, and I actually really like his music at this point. There's this sort of like vintagey, rough at the edges, sort of like what I was talking about with Flume the other time I made this podcast. I like that you can tell this was produced in probably his home studio. And yeah, I've actually got it right here. He does produce out of a home studio. Fuck yeah. I mean, I tried to do the same thing. It's just further proving that you can make great music without having to buy a shit ton of equipment or pay somebody an arm and a leg to sell your soul. Some more water. Gotta keep talking here. Gotta keep the throat dry. What am I doing here? But getting into his new release, I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, as a fan of Toro y Moi, I can't not be excited for this. The dude makes great music in my opinion, but this is straight up ambient. Maybe it's because of the smart water thing and they're trying to emulate the ocean and the rolling seas or something like that. But he has a ton of features on this album in which I can't really tell except for the Washed Out one who they are. So Washed Out does feature on the song Balance, but in my opinion Flow is my favorite, featuring Madeline Kenny, my bad. There's also Move featuring Nasha Thing and Connect featuring Empress of. I feel like most of these songs, they flow together. I listened to the entire EP, I didn't shuffle it. I listened to it straight through nonstop and it just flowed together. I felt like I felt immensely relaxed. I like the vibe of this. It's nothing too crazy. I thoroughly appreciated the overall tonality of the entire work solely because it's just relaxing. And I feel like so much music nowadays is just like, I mean, I described it as stripper pop. I heard that somewhere and it stuck with me. There's such a formula to making what can be deemed good music at this point, and people are not going to stop doing it until they don't make money off of it. So, I mean, listening to something like this where it doesn't really have a crazy melodic structure, there's not really a beginning, middle, of an end part of each song, it just flows. It just happens. And I can totally see myself like going on a run early in the morning listening to this, or it even ducks into sort of like the ASMR-esque vibes here. So I'm not surprised that something like this would come out of Toro y Moi, but it is still a bit, not off-putting, but unexpected, just because it's such a deviation from what he's made as of lately. But that's not a bad thing. I feel like musicians have to keep evolving or they're going to become irrelevant. So what can I say? It's not really much for me to... I can't judge the dude for doing this because it is artistic expression and he's very obviously making a fuck ton of money off of it, as it is part of Smart Water. So I can only imagine the sponsorship money was rolling in. Just to give it a rating, let's see. I mean, I like it a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, I might sound like I'm being overtly critical, but I really did enjoy listening to this. And I'd probably say, let's give it a solid, like, 6.5 out of 10. Like I said, we're keeping it real here. We're not giving everything a fucking 10 out of 10. We aren't IGN. I'll show it the love it deserves, but this isn't a masterpiece. I think the dude's made great music in the past. I think this ain't bad. 6.5. Deal with it. Check him out. He's a great musician. Listen to all of his stuff. The dude has so much of a discography at this point. You can probably listen to his shit nonstop for like 4 days. That's an exaggeration. Don't do that. But go check it out. The dude's great. Few more little things. I would like to say, my last episode, I fucking called it. Joe Keery, aka D-Joe, is releasing an album. Those 2 singles I talked about were just the fucking beginning. He's releasing an album with 12 songs on it, and it looks intriguing. He released another single called Mortal Projections, which sounds like the recent Arctic Monkeys album, just sort of with his singing on it. and just a bit more of like a staticky lo-fi vibe to it than the almost jazzy bits of the recent Arctic Monkeys album. I know people fucking hated that album. It was solely because they chose to try something different, and I think that that's stupid. Like I said earlier, musicians have to evolve to stay relevant, and if Arctic Monkeys put out another AM, they would start being repetitive, and I'm glad they did something different. What a tangent. Back to Dijo here. Moral Projections is a really good song, worth downloading, worth checking it out. His album is going to be called 2020. I think I saw that it's coming out on the 13th of September. That is tomorrow. Okay, this is being recorded on the 12th. Holy shit. Who'd have thought? I didn't realize we were right around the corner from that, but I'm excited. I'll talk about that in the next show. I'm a really big fan of what he's been doing. Like I said last time, he's not riding off of his success with Stranger Things. He's making quality music. And let's just get into what we've been listening to here. I dived back into my records here and found Dan Auerbach's solo album of the Black Keys. I've been listening to a lot of that. It's Waiting on a Song. I fucking love this record. Even though some people will say, oh, it's country, it's bullshit. It's a callback to simple classic rock, in my opinion. Sort of get like an Eaglesy vibe. A bit, I can absolutely see where the country comes from. But it's quality music. So what's wrong with that? My dad gives me shit all the time when he hears me listening to this, mostly because I bag on country singers. This is good shit. Old Town Road? Fuck you. That was more hostile than I anticipated it to be, but country music, like country talking about tractors and shit, that annoys me. This is not that. It's simple songwriting with hella great guitar riffs, and it's just relaxing. It's smooth music. You can listen to the whole album all the way through, and it's quality. It's quality. I'm glad that I stumbled back across it. I went and watched that show about a year back, and it was great. So, who knows? We'll see what happens here. Also been listening to Low Moon lately. I'll be talking about them on the next podcast. I have their vinyl as well. Low Moon, Dan Auerbach, Dijo, and most of all, Toro y Moi. Look him up. Check him out. Show him some love. Oh, and would you look at that? I ran this one a bit longer. 12:30. Gotta wrap it up. Love you all. Thanks for listening as always. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your ears. Go ahead, drink some water, live it up. Go and get yourself a Smart Water. Sponsorship, it will be accepted if they reach out. Keep listening, guys. I'll keep talking. See you around.